The 5 stages of the clutch is a concept Robert made up. Because every clutch is different, Robert came up with the 5 stages or positions of the clutch to create a standard reference when talking about slow speed operations. So practice them until you have them locked into muscle memory. Let's review Robert Simmons' 5 stages of the clutch. Every drill we cover requires you to preload your throttle and to keep it loaded, and to know these clutch positions on your bike. It's also important to know that we're not using the front brake at all at speeds under 10 miles an hour. Only the rear brake is used when we do slow speed maneuvers. The distance between your clutch being closed, or all the way to the grip, to the friction point, or the initial point of engagement, to open, or all the way out, varies. Robert teaches that stage 0 is when the clutch is all the way to the grip, or closed. Stage 1 is when the clutch is at the initial point of engagement, or friction point. Stage 2 is when the clutch is just beyond the initial point of engagement, but before the midpoint of the friction zone. Stage 3 is when the clutch is at the midpoint of the friction zone. Stage 4 is when the clutch is just past the midpoint of the friction zone. And stage 5 is when the clutch is all the way out, or open. When I refer to stage 0, I'm referring to the point right before the friction point, not all the way to the grip. The distance between the grip and the initial engagement point of our clutches is all different. I want to strongly encourage you to become familiar with the point right before the friction point on your bike. That's the point on your clutch that I refer to as stage 0. So whenever I'm referencing stage 0 as where you want to be in the clutch for slow speed drills, it's the point just prior to the friction point, not all the way to the grab. This is the last point in your clutch where there's still no power to the rear wheel, and the position in your clutch that you'll want to become extremely familiar. You don't want to be pulling your clutch all the way to the grip during slow speed operations. So practice holding your clutch in stage 0 when disengaging your clutch. Refer to the video I did called Preparing for a Smooth, Confident Takeoff Every Time. That's drill number 2 in the 10-minute challenge that we practice that. So the phrases pull your clutch in, or close your clutch, or so your clutch is not engaged, all mean pretty much the same thing. Bring your clutch closer to stage 0 from where it presently is. The phrases let your clutch out, or open your clutch, or so your clutch is more engaged all mean pretty much the same thing. Move your clutch further away from stage 0 than where it presently is. This standardization of clutch position makes it easier to help you know exactly where on your clutch we're talking about. And you'll benefit immensely if you practice locating these positions on your clutch to the point where they're locked into your muscle memory. To review, the 3 stages to focus on are stage 0, the point just before engagement, where your front wheel's not moving at all. Stage 1 is the initial point of friction. That's where your front wheel just begins to move. And stage 2, just beyond that point, where your tire is moving. Stages 3 through 5, we're not using during the slow speed operations. So the way to know that you're too much into your clutch is that you're going too fast when you're not using the rear brake, or if you're using the rear brake, when you take your foot off the rear brake, the front of your bike pops up. Every drill we cover requires you to know these clutch positions on your bike, so practice them until you have them locked into muscle memory.